talking about companies you need to know in the OEM space, Turntide Technologies is at the top of that list. And today we have Steve Hornyak, CEO of Turntide with us. So Steve, thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
So this week at CONEXPO, Turntide is launching the Axial Flux electric drive unit. Tell me a little bit more about what that means to the industry.
So, I appreciate that. And really what we're doing for the first time is taking a componentized yet integrated approach to allow companies to radically expedite their time to market. So in the past, if you look at bringing a new product to market, particularly in full electrification, but more and more in a hybridization mode, people look at selecting their motor, selecting their inverter, selecting their differential, selecting the gear ratio, gear system, all of those, and all those components ends up taking months to years to do, integrate, test, validate. So what we've done at Turntide is just radically simplified that process by taking components that we already have, our class-leading axial flux motor, our inverters, and then third-party differentials, integrating those in a manner that can bring you to market in a matter of weeks to months versus months to years. So radically simplified that, but we've done it in an incredibly unique manner, in a componentized way where you can highly configure the system to meet your needs, and that also allows ease of maintenance in the future. So as opposed to having a fully encased system where if it breaks or something issues, you got to replace the whole motor, you can actually replace components. So we're super excited about it, and the initial adoption, acceptance, and excitement around it has been off the chart.
And speed to market is extremely important in this industry where adoption is happening very quickly. So explain to me a little bit about the difference between a radial flux and an axial flux EDU.
Sure, so if you think axial flux motors, the technology has been around for a long time. They're called pancake motors. So the best way for me to describe it, if you go into a gym, you take two 35-pound plates and you smush them together, that motor weighs, that's about the same size and same weight as an axial flux motor, but that small package has such incredibly high torque density that it can produce close to 400 horsepower equivalent. So it's a unique way where you're actually rotating and doing the magnetization of the motor in a different manner than radial. It gives you a radically smaller size, up to almost 40% smaller size, radically smaller shape and area that it takes up, over 50% smaller and over density that it takes up, and then gets you well north of 50% more density in that size unit. So it's a very efficient, effective motor, particularly when you are size constrained, and that is what we're seeing today is companies are looking to try to repurpose platforms, leverage existing platforms that they have versus building 100% ground up all the time, so they're limited in the space they have. And that's why you're seeing a massive demand for axial flux motors.
And that's important. So can you explain to me a little bit about where this technology would be used since it's a so much smaller footprint?
Sure. So, in essence, it's anything that moves. I mean, if you look at it, it's things that fly, things that swim, things that go on the ground. So traction motors. Right, so I'm going to move wheels, whether it's on highway, off highway. We're focusing more off highway right now, but we're getting pulled into the on highway market. Things that fly. There's lots of applications in drone and drone-like applications where you need a smaller, compact, lighter motor. And then things that swim. So I'll say swim boats, right? So there's lots of application in boats, particularly with inline hybrid and hybrid diesels, where you can get more power with less motor and consume less fuel and get more range.
Now look back to CONEXPO 2023 to CONEXPO 2026. That adoption trend that you're seeing, how has that advanced so quickly in these 3 years?
So we're seeing a huge advancement where people are looking at the economics of electrification and not just electrification for electrification purposes. So in other words, I want to do the green part of electrification is green money on my balance sheet P&L versus just green for the environment. While it helps the environment, I got to look at ways of bringing a new product to market that is economically feasible and beneficial to me while being pulled to the market for customers. So with the AF motors, there's such high performance. You're seeing a lot of categories in UTVs and other where they need this high performance motor put in there and need a high efficient motor. You're seeing a lot of adoption, really super trends in hybridization. We're seeing that as just massive market, inline diesel, diesel hybrid, where you can take and radically shrink down the amount of fuel you're using, but radically increase the amount of power you're getting and double, triple, or quadruple the range. So we're seeing a lot of adoption in all of these areas across the market. Unlike just electrifying for electrification purposes, we're seeing efficiency, effectiveness, and speed to market.
So Steve, where can people find you this week at the show, and where can they go to learn more?
So learn more, come see us at turntide.com. Very easy to find us on there. Come see us at the show. You can look us up for our booth location, or get a hold of me on LinkedIn, Steve Hornyak, and be more than happy to follow up with you.
Great. Well, Steve, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.